Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name's Mohammed Francis from Britannia Academy. Today in this video, reading comprehension practice quiz. The focus of the quiz is to practice the second most important reading skill, which is reading to perform a task. This means you read the question, find the key word or key phrase, and match that word or match that phrase with the same in the reading text. The second part of this is to understand processes and procedures. Normally they will come in steps, step 1, step 2, step 3. So you should understand which comes first, which comes second, which comes third, and some of the questions are related to those. The step reading comprehension exam will always have reading to perform type questions. And so this video is good practice for you. Do the questions first and then we'll check the answers. And so let's go ahead, shall we? So let's begin with a little information about reading texts. Reading text in the Saudi step exam are paragraphs only. They do not have titles. They do not have headings. The paragraphs, each paragraph is numbered, not the lines. Between the paragraphs, there is a space of 2 lines. Inside the paragraphs, you will see bolded words that have an exam question, a vocabulary exam question. And you should try to do each question in 1.5 minutes, preferably less than that. Step reading comprehension, skill 2, reading to perform a task. Our reading today is a Capsa, Saudi Capsa recipe. The ingredients and the steps to making and preparing Saudi Capsa. You can see the first paragraph has a number. Second paragraph is also numbered, although this is a list. Third paragraph is also a list of procedures. So we can see there are 1, 2, 3 main paragraphs. The first paragraph, the second paragraph is a list of ingredients, and the third paragraph are the instructions, the preparation instructions. The questions require you to find specific pieces of information in the text, so your job is to read the question and identify the keywords to answer that. In question number 1, what type of rice is traditionally used in Capsa? What is the keyword here? And clearly the type of rice in Capsa, this is what we're looking for for the first question in the text. Question 2, at what temperature should the oven be preheated to cook the chicken? Where is the keyword in this question? Keywords are temperature, which temperature, and for cooking chicken. And the answer, of course, will be a number, one of these numbers. So you should match one of these numbers with that in the text. Question 3. What is the first step after preheating the oven? This question tests your knowledge of processes and procedures. Which is the first step? Which is the second, third, fourth, etc. So the keywords here are the first step after preheating. So it becomes the second step. So the second step is one of these choices here. Question number 4. How should the rice be rinsed before cooking? Which is the keyword here? Keywords how, the way we should rinse or clean the rice before, so the step before cooking. Question 5. Which step is required to create the tomato sauce for the Capsa? All these answers have a series of steps in them, and you should identify which one is the proper, which one is the correct, which one follows the same as the text. In choice A, there are 2 steps. Choice B, there are two steps. Choice C, 1 step. Choice D, also 1 step. Question 6. When should spices be added to the recipe? The keyword here is when and spices. Which part of the process, which step do we add the spices? Question 7. Why is it important to leave a space or a gap in the pan lid while cooking the rice? Now this you may already know from your cooking knowledge, but it's important to find the answer to this question from the text itself. What does the author say? Keywords here. Why is it important we leave a gap while we are cooking the rice? Question 8. How should the almonds be prepared for serving? Keywords here are how, almonds, and prepared. So what kind of ways do we use to prepare almonds in the Capsa recipe? So let's go to our text and start with question number 1. In reading comprehension exam, the questions are in order. Question 1, the answer you will find in paragraph 1 or 2. The answer for question 2 will also be in paragraph 2, 3, or 4. So usually they come in order, so there's no jumping around in the text. Question 1, what type of rice is used in Capsa? Now the answers: jasmine, basmati, short grain, arborio rice. Those are the 4 choices. And as we scan through the text, we find rice. Okay, then we go down. This dish is known for its aromatic long grain rice, usually basmati. So traditionally or usually, Capsa is made with a long grain rice called basmati. The answer for number 1, basmati rice, B. Question 2 asks you to identify the number, the temperature, to preheat the oven in order to cook the chicken. Now in paragraph 2, there is no number about cooking temperatures. However, in paragraph 3, as we scan the text, preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Celsius. So the answer for question number 2 is D, 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Celsius. Question 3, what is the first step after we preheat the oven? So let's read our text. Before placing the chicken on a tray, coat it in sunflower or corn oil, then cook it in the oven for 30 minutes. So the answer is, before we do this. Coat it in sunflower or corn oil. It here means, of course, the chicken. Sunflower and corn oil is vegetable oil. So the answer for question 3 is B. Cover the chicken with vegetable oil. Question 4. How should the rice be rinsed before cooking? Rinse, of course, is to use water to clean something. When you rinse, you use clean water to clean something. We scan the text. Rinse the rice. Wash the rice thoroughly under running water until the water runs clear. Our answer: wash the rice very well under running water until the water looks clear. And the answer, A, B, C, or D, is D, rinsed in tap water until clean. Question 5. Which step is required to create the tomato sauce for the Capsa? Keyword, the step to make tomato sauce for the capsa. In this paragraph we read, we can scan, make the sauce, melt the butter in a pan over a medium heat, then add the diced onions and garlic. Saute the onions until the onions are soft and translucent. Add tomato paste and diced tomatoes, stirring to create a rich sauce. So we melt the butter, add onions and garlic, cook the onions, add tomato paste, diced tomatoes to make the sauce. A, B, C, and D are all correct, but the most correct is B. Saute onions and garlic until translucent, then add tomato paste and diced tomatoes. Question 6 asks us to identify when we add the spices as we cook the chicken. Do we add spices after coating the chicken with oil? Do we add spices after the rice, after we cook the rice? Do we add spices before we add the chicken broth, which is the maraq in Arabic? Or do we add spices after adding rice to the broth? So we need to read the paragraphs before and the paragraphs after adding spice to identify which stage in the process. And this is a harder question, but let's go ahead and try it together. So quickly, we preheat the oven, we coat the chicken, we rinse the rice under cold water, we make the sauce, then we add the cooked chicken and spices. There are 4 steps there. So adding spices is the 4th step. 5th step is to add the rice and the broth and maraq. And the last step is to cook and garnish to decorate the rice. So let's go back to our question. Do we add spices after coating the chicken with oil? Yes. Do we add spices after the rice is cooked? Well, no, because this is step number 5. Do we add spices before we put in the maraq, before we put in the chicken broth? Yes. And do we add spices after adding rice to the broth? No, because this is step number 5. Step number 4 is adding spices. There's 2 possible answers, answer A or answer C. Answer A is step 1. After step 1, we have step 2 and step 3. Step 4 is to add the spices. Step 5 is to pour the chicken broth, pour in the chicken broth and bring to a boil. So answer A is correct, but it's a few steps away from adding spices. So our answer is C, before adding the chicken broth. Question 7. Why is it important to leave a gap, a space in the pan lid while cooking the rice? And we scan the paragraph with number 5. Combine the rice and broth, add rice and stir well to mix with spices. Pour in the chicken broth and bring to a boil. Then reduce the heat, covering the pan loosely to allow some steam to escape. So we put the cover, the pan cover, the lid, loosely on the pot so that when we cook, the steam can escape. And this is also general knowledge. If you are cooking, you will know. You put the lid loosely to allow it to cook in the steam so it doesn't boil over. The answers in the distractors are to stop the rice from becoming too dry, A. To prevent the chicken from sticking in the pan, B. To speed up the cooking time to make it faster, or D. To allow excess or extra steam to escape. A, B, and C may be true, but the text tells us it's to allow the vapor to leave the pan to escape. So the answer is D for number 7. Question number 8. How should the almonds be prepared for serving? If we quickly scan through the text, we can see in the sixth step, we have almonds here. It says about the almonds, toast the slivered slices of almonds in a pan until golden brown. So question 8 is fairly easy. We know the answer here. It is B. It should be toasted. Almonds should be toasted in a pan. And the word toasted means to cook until golden brown. So you cook the almonds until the slices of almonds until they are a little brown. Toast them, a little crispy and crunchy. So there we have it. A reading text with 8 questions, simply to read to perform a task, to match and identify keywords or key processes and steps within the question. Remember, the paragraphs are numbered. It may be a recipe, it may be a table, a chart, a timetable. And here we have 3 paragraphs. The first is a paragraph, the second is a list of ingredients. The third are the steps in the process, the preparation steps to make the capsa, then followed by those reading to perform a task type questions. Remember, in the exam, you'll have a mix of questions from all the 5 skills, but here in this test, we're only practicing with the second skill, which is reading to perform a task. So there we have it. A reading comprehension quiz, reading to perform a task. That's the skill tested in this. My name's Mohammed Francis. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.